Good morning, folks. It's Lindsay Hosen with SPS back in the building for another Monday Motivation. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I had a great weekend. Shout out to the NCAA college basketball. Don Staley holding the trophy again from South Carolina. They talk about a dynasty is soon to come. Sure, we'll be talking about that on Thursday on the SPSEdge show with Terry McCord Jr. and Orlando Watkins. Got some championship basketball tonight. North Carolina versus Kansas. It'll be something to watch. But what am I here to talk to you about today on this Monday Motivation? Terminology for the day. Good morning, Michelle. How are you? Michelle Mimi Watkins, always on time. Good morning. Good to see you. Michelle, today we're going to be talking about struggle is not failure. Struggle is not failure. I had a chance to spend some time with one of my close friends, very close friends, Vernon and Richard, my brother out of Detroit, Persian Doughboy. He represents East 7 Mile, representing West 7 Mile with the Henry Ford Trojans. And we got to spend some time to catch up. And Vernon and I always connect on the deepest of levels. And he shared with me something that his cousin Larry Nixon shared. Shout out to Larry, my guy as well. We were just talking, and he used that phrase, that struggle is not failure. And I think it was worth noting. Vern would know that story like no one else would. He's a business owner, entrepreneur, has a very beautiful family. Let me say that first. Foremost, his wife, Tamiko, and his daughter, Taylor, just growing up so fast and being so successful. But what I wanted to talk about them is his business, Juice Nation. You've probably seen it downtown Lansing. They got 3 locations, actually. Lansing, East Lansing, not too far from me, right near the Whole Foods, between like the Whole Foods and the Shell gas station, if you know that area. And also a new location in Okemos, across from the Starbucks, across from, same area, the 7-Eleven. We're talking about Jolly and Okemos Road. But that's my guy, though. But I think it's important to talk about that because in whatever you're trying to accomplish sometimes, it's so easy sometimes that when we have that resistance, that struggle, what are we going to define struggle as? We're going to define struggle as making forceful or violent efforts to get free of restraint or constriction. So you think about that. Synonyms for struggle are fight, grapple, scuffle, brawl. And of course, we don't want to be out in these streets fighting and scuffling, but sometimes it's more than that. Shout out to my brother Kevin Marshall. Shout out to you, Coach. How you doing, brother? Thank you for checking in. We're talking about struggle is not failure. And when we wrestle, and I can't help but think about the biblical reference, what I want to say it was David. Excuse me if I'm saying the wrong biblical name, but how he wrestled throughout the night, and he wrestled with God, And I think sometimes when we get into that idea of a brawl, a fight, a scuffle, it's so beyond what we want to be and what we want to deal with that we equate it to failing. Now, what is failing? Failure is defined, simply put, as a lack of success. And we could talk about that for a second, but I think it's important to understand that when you grapple with something, that when you have a challenge, this young man is not failing. He may look at it as failing, but let's talk about what success is. Success is anything that is moving towards your goal. First and foremost, this young man is up at the board. He's up solving and doing something that most people probably wouldn't dare to do. And he may not be getting the outcome he wants. So as he pushes his face against the board in this idea of defeat, he's struggling right now. See, he's wrestling with it. He's fighting with it. He's grappling with it. He's scuffling. He's brawling with the problem. And so many times we think that the brawl is failure, and that is not the case. The simple fact is he's trying to get that rock up that mountain. And so many of us are doing that. And so many times with us trying to get the rock, the boulder up the mountain, it's so hard, or we barely see the movement, or we think it's not happening, that we equate it to failure. But that's not the case, folks. The struggle is the part of the strength part. It's that going to the gym and working on those weights, and it burns at first. It's getting back into the gym and running up and down the court, and your chest is burning. Michelle, you know about that for the athletes that get out of season. They want to get back out there and they want to finish. They want to start the new season like they finished their last season. They probably finished at the top of their game in peak condition. but they want to get right back to that. And sometimes our mind allows that trick to be played. So I'm here to tell you today that whatever you're going through, your struggle does not equal failure. You may not get the grade you want in a course. You may not get the outcome you want with a situation. You may not get the call you wanted as it relates to an opportunity. But that does not mean failure. Failure is when you stop. Failure is when you quit moving. Failure is when you decide that I'm not going to do anything else anymore. That's when it's failure. And the only thing about failure is that the complete aspect of failure, to make failure complete, is when you decide you're not going to do anything else. And then it's done. Nothing else can happen. And so many times we look at our age, we look at our peers. And I just thought about this for a second this weekend. I said, man, there's so much power in not caring about what someone else thinks or says. And I know that's something that probably has circulated a while, but if you really think about it, a lot of things that we want to do, we limit ourselves for fear of what someone else is going to think. It's not that we don't have the ability to do it. It's not that it can't happen, but we try to rationalize what other people may think or say about what you've been doing. And it's just like it's this invisible wall that's holding us back, right? Michelle's clapping to that. She's clapping to that. I appreciate that, Michelle. I know you know all too well. And I think easier said than done, because we are human in the sense that we want this interconnectedness. We're naturally drawn to that. But in so many cases, you could be doing so much better for yourself if you didn't worry about what someone else was thinking. But here's the crazy part. That same person who you worried about what they're thinking, in most cases, not even thinking about you. Or their opinion doesn't matter in that regard, in the sense that they can't really stop you. So we end up creating these imaginary boundaries. We end up creating these imaginary prisons for ourselves, and we imprison ourselves in our own thoughts and give ourselves our own set of limitations because we're so worried about what the next man. But if anything that the last 2 years have taught us is nothing is, there to be, proven to be is going to be there. Michelle says facts. Can't rely on none of that, man. All you can do is really get up to date, man, and say, I'm wishing for the best day. I got plans going on for the next week. I got plans beyond that. Plans. How dare I say plans, but I don't know what's going to happen when I walk out the door while I'm sitting right here. Now, I'm not saying that to be negative or down, but I'm saying that, you got to look at it. You got to just keep going. You got to just keep pushing. And I'm hoping this message can fall to someone to inspire them. I just felt that when I heard my brother say that when we were out, I was like, man, I wrote it down. That's a Monday motivation for you right there. Michelle says, your own limitation is yourself. Get out of your own way. I know, but we can be the biggest roadblock, and it's here. We say, no, we give ourselves every reason why we can't do it. I was watching a very short clip of Damon Dash on Up in Smoke podcast with Stephen A. Jackson and Matt Barnes. And Damon challenged Stephen A. to say, what's your dream? And Stephen A. said, I want to act. He said, you got cameras right here. Let's act. And Stephen, like many of us, and I'm not just putting this on Stephen. Stephen was an example. He kept giving all these reasons of why he couldn't do it, or talking himself out of it, or minimizing what he was doing. And thank God for Damon and his wisdom just to bring it out of him. He got up right there and said, man, just act like you mad at Matt right now, about, something. And man, Stephen went into character so quick. And it was so believable. And for that moment, you were locked in, and it was just something for all of us to see what that could be. My brother Kevin Marshall said, all I do is give it to God and go from there. Yeah, brother, you are a strong man to let God be the one to lead you and guide you. But we're so caught up in so many worldly things sometimes that we lose sight of that. And I'm grateful for you saying that, that it's important to realize that, let the universe flow. Do your work. Do your work. Get it in. I got some things I'm working on now. And it's gonna take some work. I'm taking the old school. I'm going back to flashcards because I want to make sure I do my part. And I know the God above in the universe will allow me to move in the direction I'm supposed to move based on the work that I've done. And I just want to encourage you guys on this day. It's getting to be the 10-minute mark. There's no reason for me to stop there, but I think that'll be enough to get this message. I want to thank my brother Vern and support Juice Nation if you're in the greater Lansing area. That brother's doing great things, bringing health to you, and it comes out in the words that he shared. Again, you can go downtown Lansing to catch up with Juice Nation, or you can go out to Okemos, right there on Okemos Road in Jolly. You can't miss it, right across from Lucky Steakhouse, or you can go to East Lansing, right near the Whole Foods. You can't meet it. Shout out to the flashcards. You got to get it in with the flashcards, Mimi. Hey, works for me. I know what I need. Works for me. Go give you them index card and get it going. Shout out to my brother DJ Butcher in the building. How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Morning to you, man. Know you're going to have that morning funny, that one for the week, man. You're going to have a good one for us, man. But I just want to tell you and everybody else, man, hey, struggle is not failure. And I know sometimes we look to the left, we look to the right, and we think about what other people may think and say, man. But just find out something that's important to you and just focus on that. And you'd be so surprised, because everyone doesn't tell their story, but everybody definitely can relate. So with that, I want you guys to have a great day, have a great week, have a great month, have a great year, have a great life. Ladies and gentlemen, SPS. See you guys next time. Peace out.